Good, great evening to ya. It's your girl Key. How are you doing? How is it all treating you? Well, it is far from easy. It's new ground. It's new territory for all of us. I, for one, have shifted in terms of what I've been focusing on. And for people who have inboxed me, you're like, Key, where's the stuff about intimate relationships and those challenges? Don't worry, that is an area of what I do that I am passionate about. However, I just felt it was appropriate that I responded to the challenges that are happening at our time, because we are living in times of unprecedented stress and we really haven't ever experienced anything like this before. So it's all new normals. So if you may or may not know, so far I've developed 30 tips to help you keep your sanity. Hey P, how you doing, girl? How you doing? Good to see you out there. I don't know if I wave. No, that's on Instagram. So this one, I guess I just say hi. I'd be glad to take your questions, your queries. I think I've got this the wrong way up. I should be lower maybe. Proud to take your questions, your queries about how to get through this time of unprecedented stress and strain, because it is far from easy. If you follow me on my Facebook page, you'll see that on my personal Keeley Taverner page, you'll see that I'm putting out my kind of tips and then whatever conundrums come to me personally. And I love putting that out there because, you know, it's good to know that we're not alone and we are all adapting. We're just all having to adapt to this new normal and whatever that looks like for us. So how about you, Patricia? How you doing? Tatiana, good to see you out there. It's your girl Key. Good evening to ya. Good evening to ya. How are you maintaining your energy? Because we are in some serious new times that it depends actually, because, you know, for some people who might have been refugees, they may well have had an experience of being in survival mode. And I think that's the reality of the times that we're in, is that we're actually in survival mode. So let me know your questions. How are you maintaining your energy? How are you looking after yourself? Because it's only right we're going to have down days. Yesterday I had a down day. There was conflict in the house and basically I lost it. And I think when you lose it at times like this, when we're in survival mode, I think we can lose it in a big way, because it kind of there's an underlying anxiety that all of us are carrying. So when, you know, problems arise, and in my view, I just felt like it really shouldn't have been a problem. It just meant that, you know, my rational thinking was compromised and I just flipped. And you know what? It's okay. I never beat anyone, I never hurt anyone, no crimes were committed. It's just a lesson and, you know, we're having to adapt to that. And so what I did was, to make that experience purposeful, I have made that a tip because, Patricia, you're reading Carl Rogers. I did my master's in Rogerian therapy. So yeah, I'm a person-centered psychotherapist. Absolutely love Rogers. So anyhow, what I'm doing is the struggles and the strains that I have personally, I am turning them into tips so that actually my experience becomes useful. And also, Patricia, you lost it on Wednesday. Patricia, what tips do you need to help you to not lose it? Let me know what advice, what words of encouragement you might need so that you don't lose it, because it's very, very tricky time. So as I said, you know, I'm happy to share with you my vulnerability, but, you know, maintaining a positive, I don't even know if positive outlook is the way, because sometimes, you know, sometimes it's difficult. And I think, so yesterday I crashed and I stayed in bed for way too long. And you know, when you're you become overtired, it's like you've already slept, but you still stay in bed. And I just thought, you know what, this is not me. I didn't get up till 5. And I just thought, you know what, this is not me. Today I felt much more buoyant. And so I'm back out here ready to be of service, because I've understood the lesson from that experience. And so what about you? How are you coping? What questions do you have? What anxieties, what challenges are you going through? I'll be glad to take your questions. There's only 13 of us in this group at the current time. So, or if you feel that maybe you know, you might be living with housemates. I live with family members. So if you're living with housemates, you might also be experiencing a very difficult struggle. You know, for me, loneliness is not something I'm experiencing because I ain't never lonely in this house. However, I know for other people who are, you know, maybe in a housemate situation or actually on their own, it can be very different. Let me know your unique experiences, but if you, how, you know, how to maintain a positive vibe is something, well, I don't even know positive, but you know, it's almost like how to deal with the bad days. You know, what do we need to learn from bad days? I think that is of the utmost importance to us. Ring a good friend who know their stuff and can help you get it back into perspective. Most definitely. What did I do? Did I ring it? Yeah, I did. I read my mentor. Well, she's always like a wealth of wisdom for me. So, you know, that's particularly helpful. But let's be honest, sometimes in families, there's already underlying dynamics. And then when we are in this particular situation, those dynamics come to the fore and then problems arise. So whilst there's a part of me that expect it, you never quite know how it will manifest itself. And yesterday, I got a wake-up call. So what about you? How are you getting on? How are you dealing with this? You know, another thing that I did today, and I think it was a factor that led into my downness yesterday, my kind of just staying in bed for way too long. You know, when you know yourself and you're like, I don't stay in bed till 3. I think one of the other factors that impacted on myself was that I was worried about finance. So as we all know, the end of the month is coming thick and fast. And obviously with what has happened, my business has been affected because I also make an income from hiring out therapy rooms. And obviously if we're not allowed out, then no one's hiring therapy rooms. So I think if I'm very honest, there was a part on my part of avoidance in not dealing with that. So when you're avoiding stuff, there's that in itself can create an underlying anxiety. And so I think yesterday I just took to my bed and then ended up watching like way too many hours of television. However, I did watch the film The Marriage Story, which I found particularly helpful. So let me know if you have any questions about how best to look after yourself. What I would say is that one thing is beneficial is, as Patricia says, like having a confidant, somebody you can talk to. Number 2 is the next day, if you've had a bad day, trying to work out what were the factors that fed into it. You know, for me, I also know that avoiding dealing with the potential finance issues was a challenge for me. But today I got up with a new zeal and I contacted the bank and I went through all my direct debits to see what needs to stay and what might need to go. So for now, if there's any questions, I would gladly welcome them. And if you would rather inbox me, then that's absolutely fine too. You know, your girl Key is here for you, happy to be of service. And why I've created the Stay Sane group and why I feel that I am best able to serve people is because I have worked in prison for a number of years. I worked in prison for 8 years, and in actual fact, I am on a sabbatical and I'm due back in May. So there's a great deal I understand about confinement. Noted, I never stayed there as a resident, but I would always know the prisoners who understood the principles of making your lockdown experience purposeful. If you can make your lockdown experience purposeful, it then becomes a gift, just like anything in life. And I'm realizing that the principles I preach about in intimate relationship have a strong correlation in regards to actually a whole minefield of situations in life. So I feel really, really blessed that actually this, like, it just applies elsewhere, which actually the principles are solid. These are solid life principles, which is, one is to focus on what you can control. If we start to focus on what we can't control, it's highly likely we gon' lose it. And if you have suffered with anxiety and depression and you like to be in control, now is going to be a very, very, very difficult time for you. And what I need to know, and this is what I've been helping my clients with this week, is that we don't need panic attacks. We really don't need panic attacks. So whilst, you know, I think of it pre-lockup, pre-coronavirus, I see it like we've been practicing self-care, practicing how to look after our anxiety and depression. I think now, moving forward, is the time for application, because if we let our stress and anxiety take over us, if we're vulnerable to panic attacks, then we have to be careful about what might happen to us, because we also know that if we harm ourselves or we, fall over and having a panic attack, then where we ended up going, we're going to hospital, and that is not an ideal place for us to be at this particular time. So this is just a quick Facebook Live to let you know your girl Key is here. I'm happy to take any questions. If you need to offload, just let me know. Just holler, schedule yourself a call. I'm proud to be of service, because I know that I could be of service to people at this particular time. In addition, it's also important for me to be useful, to be of service, because right now it is about staying sane in a situation where there is immense and unprecedented strain upon us and our psychological well-being. So I want to thank you guys. I didn't get any questions yet, but I'll be back here in 2 days. So if today is Sunday, I'll be back Tuesday at 9 o'clock to take your questions and queries. Also, good news stories. Look out for the posts that I've scheduled for the next week. They're just the tips that I hope will be of benefit to you. What I really want to create here is a supportive community where we can share, offload, and inspire each other. I want to see videos. I want to see pictures. I'm going to post, but it would be a privilege if you can post too, so that, we all come together to help one another, because no man is an island, and together we are stronger. It's your girl Key signing out. I'm gonna go and walk because I've only had 3,000 steps, and if I ain't careful, I'm gonna be back shopping in Evans again, and I never really liked their choice, and the crutch on the jeans was always so massive. I was like, wow, what am I gonna put in there? Must be want to put a baby kangaroo. Anyhow, that is another discussion for another day. Take care of you and take care of each other, as long as that person is kind and considerate to you. We got to watch out for people who are taking advantage of our great nature. All the best, and if you need any assistance, let me know, and please share the group with other people who you believe would benefit from it. Take care.